chit chat. Grab your popcorn, sit tight, we're ready to roll. In the heart of Sacktown, we're feeding your soul. In the King's Court, the vibe's electric. If you don't like that, we're here to correct it. With the best in the game, we're raising the bar. From the hardwood to the airways, we're the King's shining star. With the NFL, Adams in the ring. Rhino's got the wisdom, hear the praises we sing. Court in session, it's a royal affair. With the fans all around, feel the passion in the air. In the King's Court, the vibe's electric. If you don't like that, we're here to correct it. With the best in the game, we're raising the bar. From the hardwood to the airways, we're the King's shining star.
Sacramento.
Happy Wednesday! What's going on? That's the big question, right? Everybody's wondering, is anybody going to be
Leaving Sacramento. Sacramento, there I go.
A lot of Kuminga information being kicked around right now, which is better than nothing, I guess I would say, this time of summer. We actually do have a little bit of meat on the bone in terms of stories that have come out over the last couple of days, specifically with the Kings. You signed your third two-way player. I'll show you how he got signed. I'll show you the moment he probably earned that contract. But you've got that. You've got the ongoing talk. Sam Amick was on a podcast talking about what the Warriors have been offered, according to him, what the Warriors want, which the Kings don't want to give up. And then you throw this whole wild card in with Jonathan Kuminga about the salary. Kings like him. Not sure they like him at $20+ million a year. And so there is one more interesting part of it that we'll talk about the communication between the Kings and Kuminga's camp. So yeah, we'll get into all that. Also, since it is the slow time of the year, you guys and gals had a lot of fun. I had fun last week playing the Immaculate Grid. We will do another grid today. If you want to get in on it, you can put your answers in the chat. If you want to call the show, I can put multiple people on the line at once if you want to be a part of the verbal discussion. I have one pulled up that involves the Kings, so we'll have some fun there as well. Normal schedule today. You've got Grant coming up at 7 o'clock. Going an hour earlier today. So make sure you join him at 7 if you're available. If you're not, no worries. You can catch it on replay right here on If You Don't Like That via YouTube. You can download the audio on Apple, Spotify, wherever that may be, wherever you find your podcast. And you can do the same with the King's Court with Rhino. Just search that on those same platforms. Make sure you're subscribed. And speaking of the channel, I ask and y'all deliver. Look at that. We had 34 yesterday, or 2 days ago on the show. We had 35 yesterday for Jerry Reynolds Tuesday. Thank you very much for that. Let's try to make it 36 thumbs up today. It'd mean a lot. We are on our march to get one more like per day. We're going to pay it off with a get together. I can promise you that. We will do a gathering at the very least of the King's Court, maybe a gathering with the King's Court, and if you don't like that, in Grant. So keep us going. We appreciate it. You are the reason we show up day in and day out to get you clued in on Kings basketball. We mix in a little bit of comedy. We do some wrestling on Fridays, so a little bit of everything for you. It's a mixed bag. Even though the show is the King's Court, we talk a lot about other sports besides the Kings, which you will see today. Let's get right down to it. I teased it at the top. Daquan Plowden earned himself the third two-way contract on the Kings. Here's how he did it. Right there. Right there. Right there. In front of Doug Christie, in front of Scott Perry. He looks like a volunteer. He doesn't look like a prisoner. Heck of a play. heck of a play. Now, this will be the second year that he will be on a two-way contract. Last year, he was with Atlanta. I don't mind it. Now, he is replacing Isaiah Crawford. That was interesting to me because the Kings have put a lot of time into Isaiah Crawford, and I actually get it. I understand where the Kings' thinking is at. Really, not enough time right now to wait. If you think maybe you can put somebody in the hopper that can play a few games during the season, maybe give you one good stretch, especially being lengthy defense, 3-and-D. Maybe it's him for Atlanta and I'm not saying he's going to change the Kings season. He won't, but I don't think IC falls into the same category as a player that Plowden falls into, falls into. For the Hawks last year, he averaged 7.2 points, 64% shooting from the field, and 53% from three-point range in 6 games. But please understand, those shooting percentages are very skewed. I don't know how many attempts he's had. I would guess not a ton, but some other film that you saw from him this summer, really liked this. This was look at how he's running the floor at the bottom of the play. That's a rim runner right there. Can take that. Too bad Devin missed him. That should have been a noop. And here's the monster jam that kind of turned the momentum in the first half of the the Summer League championship game. So guys athletic. It's that type that you want to have down there. So I'm good with it. He is your third two-way player. All of those roster spots are now tied up. Before we get into Kuminga and some of the other stories, I want to check in with all of you. What's up today? For the wrestling fans watching, are you watching WWE Unreal that rolled out on Netflix? It's like one of those things that like you've always wondered about. And I've had the opportunity to be backstage before. So I've seen some of the little stuff. I know Adam's been backstage before, but this like takes you all the way behind the scenes. Like they're telling you all the secrets. You remember when Fox had that like magic special where it was like the magician in a mask, and they did a primetime 8 p.m. show giving away all of the secrets to the different magic tricks. WWE's kind of doing that, and it's cool, but it's also like, I don't want to know everything, but I can't take my eyes off of it. So if you're watching that, let me know what you think about it. John Finch, first in today. What's up, my man? Let's go. Grid Wednesdays. Thank Vlad for that. He is the one that has got that going. That was a really good idea by him. In fact, I was hoping to do a grid yesterday with Jerry, but we just got too far into the conversation. I love Jerry. Jerry in some ways is just so old school. It's refreshing. If there's not a game going on, and it's like morning, afternoon, and you send him a text message, he responds with a phone call. And it's just it's an awesome thing. It's like the Peyton Manning thing, where Peyton Manning was writing letters to his competition, to his friends, instead of sending text messages. But man, Jerry's a treasure. So go back and check that show out if you didn't see it yesterday. He's here every Tuesday. He'll be back next Tuesday. But I want to get a grid in with him next Tuesday. I want to see how quickly. And okay, so I'll ask the chat this, because I was kind of torn. I'm like, I want to see how quick Jerry could complete one, but I also want to see how obscure Jerry could get with some of the names. So it's like, do you tell him just to the first name that comes to mind that falls into that category, or do you tell him you get more points if it's a more obscure player, somebody that wasn't there long that you don't think of right off the bat? So we'll get to one of those with Jerry for sure. We will do that. Let's see. Tristan, what's up, dude? Yeah, look, you're putting a little bit too much shine on my man Dennis. You gotta be careful about that shine. It's gonna go to his head, you know? He's gonna be running around here doing Chewbacca sounds. I don't need that from Dennis. Great show yesterday with Jerry. Appreciate it. Convo. Yes, indeed. Those are the best. Jim Rome always says it should never be an interview. It should be a conversation. So that's what you're hoping for. And Jerry always delivers it. And by the way, you could put Jerry with a broomstick and it would still be a great show. Like it would be a great back and forth. So it doesn't take much to have a good conversation with him. You do need to know a little bit of basketball, though. You do need to know that. You got to set him up for his jokes once in a while, have some fun laughing, but definitely a big yeet yesterday for Jerry.
Yeet!
Let's see. Keon, Carter, Dario, and a future first. No. We'll hear from Sam Amick. And I have a unique take on this whole situation with Kuminga. There's no rush for Jonathan Kuminga. I mean, the only rush is the Warriors making sure they have him under contract. If the Warriors don't like what's on the market for him, they'll hold on to him. They kept him on the end of the bench last year. So it's just, do the Kings want to give up what they want? I don't think they're willing to do it. And there's some reports out there that we will listen to that the Kings offered Kuminga a spot in the starting lineup. I don't see any way that works unless DeMar DeRozan was part of the package, which I believe he was. So Kuminga, you can read the reports and say Kuminga is sold on Sacramento, wants to come to Sac. It ain't up to Kuminga. It's up to the Warriors. So it's all good and fine. But can the Kings meet the Warriors in the middle? And again, it kind of like the De'Aaron Fox thing. And I don't want to compare Kuminga to De'Aaron Fox because Fox is a much better player than Kuminga. But, there wasn't really a rush on De'Aaron, and the Kings rushed. And what did they get? And when you look at the Warriors and their payroll, the Warriors really do not have a lot of opportunities to improve through trade. Is there much value to Buddy Hield? Probably not. They're missing that one chunk player that's making 35, 40, where you could put something together. But we'll get into it further as the show goes along. We want to get to your comments first. Love the grid. Yeah, it's getting popular around here. Peter says Kuminga needs to be 22-23 range on a 3-year. Yeah, Jerry, let's listen to what Jerry had to say about it yesterday. If you weren't with us, we were talking about what he thinks would be best for Kuminga. You always talk about guys or trying to get guys that are more on the way up than on the way down, where you can kind of still develop them and then you really get their primes. Do you see Jonathan Kuminga as a possibility to be one of those players for the Kings?
Yeah, I do. I mean, his upside, he should have all of his best years ahead. Now, just how good they're going to be, I don't think we can know. The way it played out and has played out in Golden State, it doesn't look like he's a very good fit there. I mean, I think he'd be a guy that I'd like to see the Kings get because he's a big, a nice, lively, fairly long athletic wing, which they don't have enough of, and they have too many guards.
Yeah.
So that would be good. And I think he has the potential. I think he could be a 20-point scorer. Now, would that make you better? I mean, it depends on who you're trading. I mean, honestly, I guess if you ask my opinion there, if you could trade DeMar DeRozan for him, I think it makes sense because then you get a little bigger and younger at the small forward position. And I'm not saying you get better.
Yeah.
He might not be better next year, but certainly, with DeMar as good as he is, he's got to be, moving on the on the last quarter, there's that. And so if you could do that, but now in my mind, if it's, Monk and Keon Ellis, guys like that, I don't like the sound of that much.
Yeah. And that's where I want to go. That's exactly where I want to go because I think the Kings right now, if you look, I'm not going to give you my response, but Jerry went on to say that, Dennis, are you treating this like your news stream, my man? Like, are you here for the content or are you here for yourself? Come on, Dennis. Look at this, man. This guy's just like trying to put it out. Dennis, are you trying to get a job? Are you trying to get a credential? What's going on here, Dennis? He's trying to follow the rules. See that? Per ESPN, according to ESPN. Come on, Dennis. I love Dennis. Like, I heard Grant the other night be like, I'll usually be able to catch a couple minutes of Grant's show. And I think he was talking about Dennis. And he's like, Dennis, what do you do? Just sit there all day on your phone searching for the latest rumor? And I'm thinking, yes. I rarely chime in on the chat, but I wanted to put yes. Yes, that's what Dennis does. He's an agent. Interesting. Maybe an undercover agent. Huh. All right. Maybe. We'll see. See, you upgraded your sources. Yeah. So Jerry thinks a short-term deal for Kuminga would be much better. And I see that, especially if you're going to come to a team or you want to come to a team like Sacramento, where you're going to get plenty of run. Yeah, short term's good. You can go back to the table and renegotiate. I just 3 years. Somebody put 90. It's a lot for me to wrap my arms around with this version of the Kings. I mean, when you're going in with that kind of money, you're saying that's going to be a piece for the future, and the upside is really good. I really like the Kings development, but do you want to put yourself into another hole? Let me backtrack that. I like the way the Kings develop talent, getting the most out of their talent. They've been probably top 5 in the G and the NBA in doing that. Not a coincidence. They won the G League championship. It is not. So I like that talent development system with a guy with an upside, but I don't know. Kuminga, he's kind of showing me something right now. Is it bugging anybody? Like, do you want to go up and shake him and say, you're Jonathan Kuminga, my man? Like, yeah, he came into the playoffs. He played well. I mean, he played okay. It was nothing that blew me away. Shot the 3 ball pretty well, coming off of a stretch that he had not been playing at all. But you're Jonathan Kuminga, dude. Like, what are you holding out for? You think you're worth 30 in this NBA and this CBA? I don't think so. I think you're worth a flyer at like 19.5 with maybe a partially guaranteed second year. 19.5 is more than fair, I think, for Jonathan Kuminga. Just saying. I think it's more than fair. Other sources have chimed in on this as well. What Dennis is talking about is what Mark Spears said today on ESPN. Here was Mark Spears on Kuminga's quote-unquote preference.
Of courage.
He wants to go.
He wants to go.
He wants to go. And the Kings are offering a starting spot.
Okay.
Power forward next to Keegan Murray, next to Sabonis. He's talked on a Zoom call with Scott Perry, as you know, the GM, BJ Armstrong, the assistant GM, and also with their head coach.
Okay.
So he's in.
Right.
He wants to go there, but I think that first, the Warriors don't like the first. And then the Suns, I heard they're like offering Royce O'Neal in 4 seconds and Nick Richards. That's just not pretty enough.
Dante didn't exactly flourish here in Sacramento, Dennis. We had that situation with him. Remember, we didn't pay him down the stretch. Do you mean play him or pay him? He wasn't that great when he was here. Definitely was not New York Dante, for sure. Mark Spears said we would get what? Okay, Dennis, dude, slow down. Dennis, slow down. Chill, dude. Your fingers right now are struggling, as Joe Namath would say. Chill, brother. Let the thought go through the brain, come to the mouth, look, make sure that you're typing real words in, and then put it in the chat. You need to put a restrictor plate on Dennis. I'm not going to put him in timeout for participating, but Dennis, man, like I need to limit you to like 2 messages per. No, that's way too many. Like a message a minute at most.
Moron.
Oh, you're not a moron. Sorry, didn't mean to play that one. I like the one where you and Grant yell at each other. Personally,
Dennis, stop for a minute.
That's the one that I like. Yeah, Dennis, slow down a little bit, man. I don't want to be driving next to you. If only I could eat. Yeah, John Finch, you don't want to go on that diet either. So that was ESPN. Here's what Sam Amick said earlier today on the Warriors Plus Minus podcast, very much in line with a lot of what I've been hearing.
To the tango, and that's the issue, is that, I can't speak too much to the Phoenix side in terms of all the particulars of their level of interest, of what number they're at. Obviously I'm close to the Sacramento side, and it's like, it's not just up to the Warriors. For one, it was reported that the Kings had offered, I think it was Devin Carter and a future first. There was another piece in there, and my understanding is I don't think that the Warriors were really interested in Carter. Same goes for DeMar DeRozan. So it's like, those types of things are issues. The contract is an issue. As of a couple of weeks ago, a team like the Kings, they weren't looking to pay Jonathan, maybe not even up into the 20 million range annually. And that's an issue for his camp. So that's not a deal that he's looking to agree to. So it's just it's a puzzle where the pieces aren't fitting together. And I don't know. I agree that the emotional side of it feels like it needs to come to an end, but like in terms of the pieces and the way it functions here, like I could see it dragging on for a while longer and into the season.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I am completely with Sam there. Sacramento Bee, Jason Anderson, I would assume, a source that I very much trust, says that the Kings are kind of looking at Keon off limits. We've talked a lot about Keon being a part of a package here. So those that want Keon to stay, that's good. You know who else is off limits? Keegan Murray. And I've said that from day one. He is probably the one guy that I think is kind of untouchable, or the one guy from last year's team that is kind of untouchable just because of what he's being paid, the upside, and the unknown of what you may have offensively. I mean, he's done everything the team has asked him to do. With his body, with his training, he's come back and developed part of his games that have been part of his summer programs. So I get that. But the deal that the Sac B says was Devin Carter, Saric, draft compensation, which could be a protected first-round pick or multiple second-round picks. The Warriors would probably be quick to pull the trigger on a deal involving Keegan Murray or Keon Ellis. However, a source with knowledge of trade conversations told the Sacramento Bee that Murray and Ellis have not been discussed, and both are considered off limits in talks with Kuminga. Man, if you're Devin Carter, like, do you just have a bag that's packed already? To be going into year 2 when you really didn't get a year 1, and that Devin Carter is not in a much different situation than Dalton Connect in a sense. Now, a trade hasn't gone through and then been rescinded, or the trade hadn't been made and then been rescinded in Devin Carter's case, but the team's looking to move you, and I guess you could think about Kevin Huerter. He dealt with that for how long? Harrison Barnes for how long? So that's the movement on the Kuminga side. Not much to add to it other than that. We'll take your comments again. And this is, and Jerry pointed this out yesterday, rightfully so. It's why the title of the show is Grid Day. When the Kings are away, the quarters will play, because it's dead time right now in the NBA. So I'm surprised even some of this is coming out. I'm guessing these meetings, I heard a Kuminga meeting was happening late last week or over the weekend. So I'm sure this week it's probably cooled off a little bit. But the Warriors, again, all the leverage in the world. They don't have to trade him. They don't. They've shown they are willing to let him sit on the bench. And if you're the Warriors, maybe you wait till you get that right deal. Maybe you wait until somebody goes down in off-season training. Maybe you wait until somebody gets hurt in training camp or the preseason. Now another team's in need. It can happen just that quick. I guess what I'm saying is the Warriors know the Kings deal isn't going away. So really interesting stuff. Andre, what's up, my man? Back in here. Mark Spears says Kuminga wants to go to Sacramento. Yeah, we just played that. My response to 4 years, 90 million, shake yourself, Jonathan Kuminga. You are, go write your name on a piece of paper. You are Jonathan Kuminga. What have you done to warrant 4 years at 90 million? I guarantee he would not be asking 4 at 90 had he never come in that playoff series against the Timberwolves. There's no chance. And I'm not getting on you, Andre. It's just, it's kind of insane. I think somebody needs to reset this guy's thinking. And I'm sure it's not his agent. Which kind of brings me to a concern, man. Grant said a couple of nights ago, he's like, well, there's a reason he didn't play. You don't know what that reason is. And I don't know Jonathan Kuminga. I've never met the guy. Never heard anything bad about Jonathan Kuminga. But I don't know if you need a me guy here right now with what the Kings are doing, trying to rebuild. And again, putting that contract on the books, man, it seems like a year early for a move like that. But the other side of the argument, how often do the Kings have an opportunity to nab a player with the upside of Kuminga in technically free agency, although it would most likely be a sign and trade? Richard, Jerry and I both agree you can't do, first off, there's not a run on Russell Westbrook right now. There's like no rush. But you can't sign another guard until you have resolved whatever this Kuminga thing may be, or you move off of Kuminga and make a different deal. You just simply cannot bring in another guard. I think it weakens your trade position because now teams know you have to get guards off. So maybe you're going to be the one taking the haircut on the deal. So Westbrook was with DeMar at a Sparks game yesterday. Cool. Both from LA. Not a big thing there. Also, so much of the training, by the way, for those that don't know, so much of the training, so much of the different informal, they're not leagues, but scrimmages. Like Rico Hines is famous for doing them, and I know he just got an NBA job last year as an assistant. Phil Handy is also one of the best, and I mean this best, player development coaches in America. And so much of that stuff happens in LA. So for them to be down there, you got the Drew League that's going to be starting up down there. So yeah, it's cool. They know each other. Trust me, that's a small group. I know this for a fact because one of my roommates from SDSU, Brandon Heath, who actually had a cup of coffee with the Lakers, great guy, great player. I think he played a little bit overseas too. He's part of that group with all those guys. DeMar is one of his best friends. So yeah, they run a tight ship. You got Baron Davis as part of that. So they like to get together and be around each other. this time of year when they can, because the rest of the calendar, the remaining 7-8 months, if you're lucky to play that long, is pretty filled up. So we've still got a few other topics before we get to the grid. Like I said, call the show if you want. This guy seems to be the only one taking me up on it. Mac, what's up today, buddy?
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, bud?
I'm all right. I disagree about the Warriors being able to sit on this. The reason why is, look, as long as the Warriors have Curry, they're playing for a championship. I think we'd all would agree with that. If you have an asset that could make their team better, why let it just sit on the bench and instead of going and getting assets to help you win now if you're a win now team? I don't think that they would want. Also, I mean, we've seen this on other teams, particularly, I know it's a different sport, but like the 49ers, I don't think you want this drama coming into camp. If I'm the Warriors, I mean, look at Brandon Ayuk with the 49ers. They brought the drama into camp, and it wasn't good. So I if I'm the Warriors, I'm not going to do like the Kings did with Fox, but I would be eager to get this deal done in September before, and I think that there will be a deal, whether it's with Sacramento or not, about a week or two before training camp, because I do not see them sitting on Kuminga and not resolving this because they're a win now team, and they need assets to win now. Another thing, I do not understand why Keon Ellis is. I understand Keon Ellis is a good player. I understand that he plays great. He plays good defense, and that his shooting is good, and I understand that he does some special things. But like you just said, how many times does Sacramento have a chance to get a potential superstar?
Oh, careful with superstar.
But that's the upside. What is Keon Ellis's upside? Keon Ellis is going to be his upside. Maybe he makes an all-star game in his career. Maybe he does that. Who knows? I would be willing to get rid of, because of the upside. I feel like I can get a Keon Ellis. He's hot. He's easier to find than a potential Kuminga. Please, I'm not trashing on Keon Ellis. This is not me saying that he's not a good player, that he's not a guy that won't start in the league, that he's not a guy that you don't like to have on your team, but you got to give up talent to get talent. And that's the unfortunate thing about it. And I feel that if you signed Kuminga for 3 years, within those 3 years, I'm sure that the Kings could do, especially as we see they're doing great developmental things, that they could find another Keon Ellis or even develop another Keon Ellis. I'm more confident in that than them getting having an opportunity like this again. Does that make sense? That's why I'm so pulling the trigger on this. And it just and I would not take Keon off the table. And if that's all it takes to make the deal, like we've said, they're a little guard heavy. I understand you're getting rid of Devin Carter and Keon, but it's a good move. It that's just me. I don't know. Do you feel that a Keon Ellis might be easier to find than having an opportunity at this?
No, I actually think it's probably easier to find a 3-and-D power forward than it is a Keon Ellis, for this reason. And Mac, I think we forget, and I'm not saying you specifically, I think a lot of Kings fans, we overvalue you guys, number one, but number two, to have two guys in the hopper, and actually I'm going to include a third in the hopper, Mason Jones, who unfortunately is looking at a backlog of guards, or else I think he would definitely have a look at making this team. Now is he going to get a training camp invite? I'll be lit if Mason doesn't get a training camp invite. But for the Kings to have three dudes like that, that Mace was struggling before he came here, completely turns everything around. Keon Ellis, undrafted, out of nowhere, basically thrown into the league and prospers defensively. The whole reason Keon got his opportunity was because of the injuries.
Right.
At the end of that 23-24 season.
And that proves my point.
But here's the thing. I don't think to your point about Keon being a all-star, I don't know that he would be an all-star.
I'm saying that's the highest ceiling.
Correct.
Yes.
Here's what I see Keon Ellis is. If he was not with the Sacramento Kings, he would have gotten votes for the all-defensive team this year. Same thing with Keegan Murray. I could see Keon Ellis being a perennial all-defensive guy, whether it's first team, second team, hands down. And guys like that can recover the way that he can, that's slippery, that's hard to screen, they're invaluable. They're pests. And you just, somebody that loves and here's the other thing, Mac, that loves the defensive end of the court to the point that he does, and it doesn't affect his offensive game, where if he's not touching the ball, he's not playing different on D. I think we have to realize, if I had to put them in order, probably Keon, out of respect, Mace, but Isaac now is going to have the bigger opportunity. These are rarities. This doesn't usually happen. If this happened everywhere, you would see G League guys all the time turning into NBA players overnight. So I think where the rubber meets the road is Scott Perry wants this to ultimately be a defensive team. Keon, I forget who put it in the chat. Keon is on an expiring contract, and Keon is at a really low number, which makes his value all that much higher. I guess what I'm saying, this is the peak of Keon Ellis's value right now. Before he gets paid, this is your peak value in Keon. So if you're going to part with him and not have him in a 2-3 year plan because you think that position's more important, then I can get on board with that, because this won't be a defensive team for the next 2-3 years. But I think it's easier to get a 3-and-D, dude.
Okay. Well, then if you're talking about, but you're also, like you said, clogged at that spot. And I just really want the Kuminga because I like it, because it allows Murray to go down to 3. It makes sense. And I'm not I saw in the comments, it says I'm a stan. It's not that. I just want hope. Like, I see more hope in putting my eggs in the Kuminga basket than I do the Keon. Not trying to knock Keon Ellis, but I could see the team going further without Keon Ellis and having Kuminga than Keon. Anyway, that's my point. One last thing, I wanted to air a grievance. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Hold on. Let me get you the proper imaging. Here you go.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
All right. My airing of the grievance is to the San Francisco 49ers training staff. You have always had, it's always been injuries. Okay. That's now there are some injuries, like a broken hand, you can't help, right? But we are seeing soft tissue injuries in training camp. And we've got Ricky Pearsall, hamstring. Now Juan Jennings, calf. Renardo Green. I mean, half of the people that they were like most of the people that they were where they're light in, they all have soft tissue injuries. We know how to prevent a hamstring. I mean, that's, you stretch in a certain way and you get them warmed up and you go. I do not understand this. I wonder if maybe they should go back to 2-a-days and have lighter 2 separate practices the NFL won't let them, but they're trying to squeeze 2-a-days in 90 minutes. And is that what's going on? It's ridiculous. And I don't think that when you're having soft tissue injuries at this magnitude, that Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers can say, well, what could we do? We were injury prone. We had injuries. Well, you know what you could do right now? You know that Ricky Pearsall is questionable. You know that Juan Jennings has been out for 3 days. You might want to go and look at and call up Keenan Allen. You have $40 million in cap space, and you know DeMar Robinson's going to be out for 3 games at minimum. So who is your starting? Who's your starting wide receiver? It's the rookie that you just drafted from is it SMU? There you go. So you might want to call up Keenan Allen. You might want to call up what's his name? He played for the Raiders and then the Browns. He's still available. I don't know. That's just me. I am just so upset with the 49ers right now. And I just see and one other thing, the Michael Williams thing. Can we stop drafting dudes that are injury prone? He played all last year on a bad ankle. I understand he was tearing up in camp, but why is he out now? An ankle. And it's just like the Kinlaw thing. We draft Kinlaw number 1. We know he's got a bad knee, but somehow he's magically going to be okay. I just wish that they would stay away from people who've had histories of injuries, and also they've got to do something about their warm-ups or whatever, their trainers, because it's just not working. And 10 years of having the injury excuse, that's just not going to cut it, in my opinion. That's just me.
All right, well done. Thanks, Mac. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Egregious, preposterous.
Mac getting a grievance off on a Wednesday. I'm all good with it. I don't know what he was I don't know what a stan is. I'm sorry. I'm out of the young kids lingo, but like we try to be respectful around here. We're not don't be putting people down unless they're doing something dumb. And especially don't be putting somebody down if you're not shooting your shot. What you're saying is wrong. And you're not calling the show. You call the show. Mac has the balls to pick up the phone and shoot his shot. I like it. Now, yeah, that was a grievance. Few things here, Mac. The first is maybe you need to look at your scouts. That'd be the first thing. Because Pearsall, outside of the shooting, has been injury prone since he was injury prone in the spring. Anyways, back to the point with the soft tissue injuries. One of the biggest storylines that's going on behind the scenes that nobody is seeing in not just football, not just basketball, it's growing clash. Oh, man. Okay, a super fan. Fair enough. I respect that. But didn't Stan do some bad things? Didn't Stan drive his rig off of a bridge? That was such a weird song. Anybody my age, I'm 41, anybody my age that had parents that were like, you're not listening to Eminem when the Eminem show CD came out, the original one? Anybody get that? We'd always find a way to make it happen. All right. Well, Mac is definitely none of those things. He's a very good viewer. Respect him for calling. And he's passionate. That's what we like around here. Anyways, back to his thing about, let's go over a few things. Get back to the original thought. There's this growing battle behind the scenes between teams, their trainers, and players and their trainers. Back in the day, you would take the team's training program home. Now, certainly some of the movements, some parts of your game, they're going to tell you to work on, but the actual calisthenics, the movements, the workouts were being ran by the team trainers. MC's with me. He knows. Yeah, that first one came out. We were blasting it like outside. So our basketball hoop at the time was in the front of the house. And I'm gonna date us now. Me and all my buddies, we had a hoop it up team. Like we were hardcore hoop it uppers. Like we had our own t-shirts made. I think it was called like NXT. I think that's what our team was. You got your last name on the shirt. You know, remember that store in Florin Mall? It was a print shop, but we knew it as a like place to get your custom hoop it up shirts. Yeah, and we were blasting that CD. And the neighbors let my parents know what we were listening to. Yeah, that wasn't cool, but that was a good time. Damn good time. Back to the point. You've got this growing fight, and here's the best example I can give you right now. The best example is when Luka was traded to LA. Do you know what the Lakers did? Anybody? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Hoop It Up was the best. We'd always pop in Hoop Dreams like the night or two before the first day of Hoop It Up. You remember buying the Gatorade bottles? What were they? Look at Horace Dayton himself, because he used to be here then. That print shop in Florin Mall was there in the 70s. Damn right. You get that Gatorade bottle that you'd buy, the overpriced Gatorade bottle. And back in the day, it was the only place you could like buy one of those Gatorade bottles. And you could drink all the Gatorade you wanted that entire weekend. The Hoop It Up trophies. Oh my gosh. Dang, I'm getting nostalgic. I'm going Uncle Rico on y'all. Anyways, the Lakers hired Luka's personal training staff. That was part of the deal. We're going to hire his training staff. So Mac is right. The 49ers have had a decent amount of injuries and soft tissue injuries. I would also add a lot of other teams have had a lot of those injuries too. And so one of the more interesting things to pay attention to behind the scenes is just that, this rift between team trainers and the players' personal trainers that they go work with. Patrick Mahomes is famous for this. He goes to work out with his trainer during the season. Phillies reached deal for Twins Duran, sources say. The closer, Johan Duran, all right, headed to Philly per ESPN, if you're a baseball head. So I think that has a lot to do with the injuries. I don't think it's 2 days and 90 minutes. I don't think it's anything like that. I think guys, and I think it goes even further back, especially some of the younger players. We've had the conversation so many times that kids who are now turning into pro athletes have been doing things that are so specialized, the movements. They've done way more of the same movements over and over on certain parts of their bodies that we never did because we were off playing 2, 3, 4 sports. Before cell phones, we're riding our bikes around the street looking for pickup games with everybody else, or we're going to the park to play football. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you're a kid, you're playing AAU year round. I think the worst and best example is pitchers in baseball. They just haven't pitching year round. How many Tommy John surgeries and multiple Tommy John surgeries have we seen as of late? Man, don't make my man Mac defend himself. I get his take. He said distraction. Jerry Reynolds thought it could be a distraction, but I don't see any way. He's right. The Warriors are trying to contend, but how are you going to better contend if you're getting players you don't want in draft picks that won't be there until Curry's gone? You know, they're going to wait for the right deal. But I got to give it to him. I mean, I don't know how big of a distraction it will be, but Jerry does believe that it will be a distraction. So we'll see. Hey, pick up the phone like Mac. Do it. Pick up the phone. Call the show. You want to talk about something. I saw Flores put in the chat that Gilbert Arenas was arrested. Yes, I've got that. I've got some unique thoughts on that. Agent Zero. Wait till you hear what Agent Zero got popped for. Unbelievable. Andre, Adam Silver called Nico and told him we're giving the first overall pick as part of the trade. Are we still doing that? Are we still doing that? I guess so. We'll still do that, man. I think Dallas is kind of moved on, kind of a little bit. Cooper Flagg helps that sting. Think about it too. What were they going to do at point guard? Jason Kidd really is kind of looking at Coop to be a ball handler. Should be interesting. I'm 49, so no. I did hoop it up as well. All right, fair enough. Star Wars t-shirts from there. Okay, Horse still talking about the printing shop. There you go. What are the chances the Kings acquiring Westbrook and or Kuminga? I think the two depend on each other. So I don't think I think it's all or nothing, to be quite honest with you. Progressive. I think it's either Kuminga or a different player at that position, which you trade some guards for, and then you get Westbrook. So I think the Westbrook move is a secondary move to what the Kings do. And again, I want to go back to this. It's been kicked around that the Kings told Jonathan Kuminga he would have a starting position here in Sacramento. I did hear that personally. So that means, by deduction, very simple, DeMar DeRozan was on the table. But let's say the Kings do make a deal, the Warriors cave, they change their mind on Devin Carter, and they take back Saric. It's crazy. To be at a team, trade it away. Yeah, anyways. And they take back Saric. The Kings give them better draft capital. But now you have Kuminga, DeRozan, Murray, and Levine. You got a problem. It's not a bad problem. Well, is it a bad problem? Maybe. I mean, who are you going to rattle? Whose nest is going to get rattled there? Kuminga, who thinks he's the next coming right now based off of what he's asking to be paid in context with the CBA right now? You going to piss him off right here coming? First taste of Sacramento? Nah, man, you ain't starting. I know you're starting Keegan Murray. You can't not start Keegan Murray. Double negative, by the way. Woo! Woo! You going to tell DeMar, hey, DeMar, we're going to use you as a sixth man? He'd do it. He wouldn't be happy. He would do it. He'd be professional. You going to tell Zach LaVine he's coming off the bench? Not a chance. Remember, for a long time in Chicago, Zach LaVine was not talking to Billy Donovan. DeMar DeRozan was the conduit between those two. So that was interesting to me. I wonder if the Kings are going to have to walk that back, if indeed that was told to Jonathan Kuminga. Makes sense if DeRozan's on the table. Does not make sense if he is not, or if DeRozan's on the roster. I mean, in some ways, the Kings kind of hold with DeRozan this offseason. The Kings probably could have panicked and gotten off of him, but it wasn't what they wanted or needed. It's not that dissimilar from Golden State. Because I think once you come the trade deadline, if you're still looking to, no, absolutely not. Reports are that Keegan and Keon are not being talked about. The Kings are not willing to offer them. So what else do you have to offer at that point? Could you get, hypothetically, here you go, hypothetically, based off of Zach LaVine's ability to stay healthy last year, is there any way you could get LaVine into a deal that would involve Kuminga? The Warriors took a heck of a risk, a little bit of a risk with Jimmy Butler. They had some type of inclination that he was going to sign the extension. I mean, Zach LaVine's contract does kind of line up with, it does for the most part, line up with what Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler have left in the tank. Could you in some way make a bigger deal that involves Kuminga? It's a good question. I like that risk a lot different. It's just would the Warriors be able or want to take on the risk of Zach LaVine? Could be high reward. Could be very high reward. The Kings have been ruining three-point shooters the last 2 seasons. That's all that Golden State does for the most part. So interesting to think about. Very interesting to think about. Happy to have you all here today on a Wednesday. We're going to do an immaculate grid here in a little bit together. So if you want to call in and be a part of that, Andre, do you think a deal with Kuminga or Westbrook will be made before September? Man. That's a
great question.
What does my gut tell me? Let me replay. I'm at 60%. I'm at 65% no, 35% yes. That's where I'm at. We're talking all about this Kuminga acquisition today because there's been some more reports that have hit the media. First, Mark Spears earlier on ESPN NBA Today.
He wants to go.
He wants to go.
He wants to go. And the Kings are offering a starting spot.
Okay.
Power forward next to Keegan Murray, next to Sabonis. He's talked on a Zoom call with Scott Perry, as you know, the GM, BJ Armstrong, the assistant GM, and also with their head coach.
Okay.
So he's in.
Right.
He wants to go there, but I think that first, the Warriors don't like the first. And then the Suns, I heard they're like offering Royce O'Neal in 4 seconds and Nick Richards. That's just not pretty enough.
At what point do the Suns and the Kings look at each other and reset the Warriors? Say, if you want this guy gone so bad, you need to rethink what you want for him. And he needs to rethink what he wants to be paid, or else he's sitting on your bench to start training camp. The Suns reportedly pulled out. Here was Sam Amick as well earlier today on the Plus Minus podcast.
To the tango, and that's the issue, is that, I can't speak too much to the Phoenix side in terms of all the particulars of their level of interest, of what number they're at. Obviously I'm close to the Sacramento side, and it's like, it's not just up to the Warriors. For one, it was reported that the Kings had offered, I think it was Devin Carter and a future first. There was another piece in there, and my understanding is I don't think that the Warriors were really interested in Carter. Same goes for DeMar DeRozan. So it's like, those types of things are issues. The contract is an issue. As of a couple weeks ago, a team like the Kings, they weren't looking to pay Jonathan, maybe not even up into the 20 million range annually. And that's an issue for his camp. So that's not a deal that he's looking to agree to. So it's just it's a puzzle where the pieces aren't fitting together. And I don't know. I agree that the emotional side of it feels like it needs to come to an end, but like in terms of the pieces and the way it functions here, like I could see it dragging on for a while longer and into the season.
Yeah, but
I think the Kings, the bigger rush is for the Kings than the Warriors. That to me is probably where the push is at. And remember, this is the dead time of the NBA. This is when the executives go on vacation. Doesn't mean you can't do business on vacation, but this is usually the off time. We didn't see the Cat for Randall trade until right before training camp. It was like within a week of training camp. Haunted Horse is part of the deal. Interesting. We want to talk about a distraction. That's a distraction. You imagine Haunted Horse walking around the team room or hanging out with all the guys and their wives?
Who's next to you? There's a woman next to you.
That's my daughter.
I don't think the Warriors want. The Warriors are taking Levine well before they take Haunted Horse. I can promise you that. And there's questions about Haunted Horse, and who knows? Maybe one of his kids will pop up at a Warriors game and try to rush the court.
Horse, Jim. I also fathered an illegitimate child.
I mean, who announces that they fathered an illegitimate child on a nationally syndicated radio show? I don't know many of those guys. Anyways, one guy that I do know, one guy that I am happy to call my partner, that is Grant Napier. We are on his channel now, and he'll be back to reclaim it tonight at 7 o'clock. You can pick up the conversation with him. You can take it any way that you want to. You can even go outside of sports. I mean, within reason. He likes talking travel. You want to talk a little food? He'll do some food. Although he's not that much more of an adventurous eater than Vlade is. He's definitely more exotic than Vlade, but not too far off. For those that haven't heard those stories, Vlade refuses to have any type of vegetable on his plate. Grant will eat vegetables, so he's good. But check him out, 7 o'clock tonight. Join him. Usually 8. Tonight it's going to be 7 o'clock. Speaking of great food, Bennett's. 3 locations here in the greater Sacramento area: Rockland, Roseville, Howe, and Fair Oaks. Woo! Prime cuts of seafood and steak. Man, I'm telling you, amazing food, fancy food at a fair price. Brian, fancy food at a fair price. I like that. Brian, you might want to run with that. He comes up with great ideas. Brian Bennett, the owner of Bennett's, him and Margot, they just rolled out a Taste of Summer menu at all 3 locations. You can get 2 courses for $30, $5 more, get you a dessert as well. In addition to all the other specials they run throughout the week, like happy hour 2 to 6 o'clock, bubbles and brunch on the weekends, 11 to 2 p.m., all 3 locations, $45.99, 2 entrees, and a whole bottle of champagne. Dennis is like, that's breakfast. I love you, Dennis. You're a good sport, dude. Yeah, Jim. You're right. That was not funny.
Rhino.
that was not funny. My bad, Dennis. I'm sorry.
Ryan, that's not funny or interesting or anything at all.
My bad, Dennis. My bad, Bennett. Dennis, your next happy hours on me within reason. Anyways, brunch specials off the charts. They've got prime rib on the weekends as well, and some other great lunch specials and dining specials. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. Check out all they have to offer. You can also make reservations right there on the site. You can buy gift cards and check everything out for yourself. Promise you will not be disappointed. And a big thanks to all of you that have gone to check out and enjoy Bennett's. Brian and Margot tells us all the time about y'all coming in. So really appreciate it. Let us know when you go in as well. We'll retweet it. Send us a picture of your food. Make us hungry. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on Bennett's Restaurants. Again, Bennett's prime cuts of seafood and steak. 3 locations here in the greater Sacramento area. So another story popped up in the chat that I did want to get to really quick. Agent Zero. Yes, Agent Zero. Did anybody see? There was an episode on Netflix of this series called Untold. I'm pretty sure the series is Untold. But it's about him and the whole gun in the locker room saga in Washington and his teammate. Like how real the beef was between those guys. That they began bringing guns into the locker room. Y'all remember that, right? It's old news. He's done his time for that. He has paid his price for the crimes he's committed. But I see today that he gets picked up. Check this out. Gilbert Arenas, 3-time NBA All-Star known as Agent Zero, was arrested in Los Angeles alongside 5 others on a federal indictment alleging they operated an illegal gambling business from September 2021 to 2022. The operation involved high-stakes poker games, primarily Pot Limit Omaha, at an Encino, California mansion owned by Arenas. You've got to be kidding me. He's been charged with conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, operating an illegal gambling business, and making false statements to federal investigators. Can I just say, this is kind of on the heels of the federal government losing some very notable, for the most part, prosecutions against some high-profile people. You're going to roll out and charge this dude for holding poker games at his house? Guess what? Y'all better not answer the door if somebody knocks later tonight, because it might be the feds. I hold poker games. I go to poker games. We've all done that. Now, I get that this operation, which was quote unquote named Rake, is alleging that he was holding them on a grander scale, that he was recruiting people along with his co-defendants to come play poker. Exactly. That's who I was talking about, Progressive. You nailed it. You nailed it. You nailed it, Progressive. It's great context. That's why I was telling everybody, go check that out. I did watch that. I believe the name of the show is Untold on Netflix, and it's entirely about that situation. But we're going to go after this dude for holding poker games at homes. What's next? Are we going to get shut down or tackled by the feds? Terry Tate, office linebacker style, for doing Super Bowl squares? At a time where gambling is no longer taboo, and at a time that you have put gambling, the Supreme Court put gambling in the state's hands, now all of a sudden, the feds are going to swoop in because dude is having poker games at his house. Don't justify it with the amount of money that may or may not be spent at these games. You know why? I have been at parties with Super Bowl squares that cost $10,000 a piece. It's going to look like a lot of money when you read this indictment, but in reality, there's a lot of other ways that a lot of us have gambled, been around those that have gambled, know somebody that has gambled. We know big money can pass around. Just watch an episode of Pawn Stars, for heaven's sakes. And they're in a state where it's legal to gamble. People will bring in watches or coins worth $250,000. If I were you, I would check over my shoulder before you pay your dues for your fantasy football league this year, which most of us do. Is that next? Is that going to be the next thing? You don't think there's that type of money that changes hands in fantasy football every single year? Come on. This is just, for me, a very bad look for the Attorney General. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. If everything is true, that what's been reported and what's in the complaint, I don't care. Like, what are we doing? If you want to be real about it, not a good dude. Diddy. Never, ever put your hands on a woman. Ever. Not a good dude. But the federal government just tried to hit him with RICO. They outkicked their coverage with charges that even Diddy, with videos running of stuff that shouldn't be on video, in front of a jury, he only gets convicted of the Mann Act, which is transporting keep it clean here, a quote-unquote worker across state lines. But yet they're still holding him. And I'm not saying he's a good dude. I'm not. But tomorrow there's going to be a decision because the judge again denied his bail at $1 million, although he had been exonerated on all of the major charges, except the Mann Act that is rarely prosecuted these days. Tomorrow, there's going to be a hearing on him getting out on $50 million bail. And now there's talks of this dude possibly getting a pardon. You're going to follow all of this up with hitting Gilbert Arenas for running a poker thing at his house. Get the hell out of here. Gambling's not even in the Fed's jurisdiction. I hate it. I hate it. Again, fantasy football, is that next? Super Bowl squares? Because I have a Super Bowl party every year and I'm actively looking for new friends that we might invite to the party and we have squares every year, am I going to get charged federally for running a Super Bowl square scandal? It's idiotic. It's a waste of money. I feel bad for Gilbert Arenas in this one. I do. Even if everything in there is true, I feel bad. What are we doing? Are cops going to start pulling people over in California? Or excuse me, FBI agents pulling people over in California for having marijuana on them? I just think it's terrible. I don't like it. And maybe y'all feel different. I think it's stupid. Generational hater. I love that. I love that name, by the way. Generational hater. That makes me think of the player haters ball. Hate, hate, hate. Oh, that's such a good name. I'm reporting your squares. Yeah, Exactly. Like, what are we doing? Just burn it to the ground. Burn it down! Sorry, that was a little loud. Burn it down. Come on, man. And tell me if you feel different. It's all good. If you do. From one story that really pisses me off to the closing of a chapter for Shannon Sharpe. You want to talk about a bad year? You remember, doesn't it feel like it was about this time last year? Maybe it was sooner, where Shannon Sharpe accidentally went live. You'll take 2 squares. No, hey, shh. We can't talk about that here, man. What's the code word going to be for my racketeering group? What's it going to be? Give us a code name. We need some way to communicate. I know the Square Man might be listening. I might get into deep trouble. Yep, I'm looking for people to buy squares right now, Gail. And this is being recorded. It's being recorded. Tell you what, here we go. Come get your Super Bowl squares. Let's go. Who wants a square? Come get a square. We don't know who's going to play in the game, but, you know, I'm racketeering because I do this every year, and I'm asking you if you want to play. Stupid. Just so stupid. What's up, Gail? You killed it on Rome, by the way. Absolutely killed it. So Shannon Sharpe accidentally goes live on his IG doing something that's usually done behind closed doors, and then says, I was hacked. I was hacked. And then later that night walks it back and issues a statement that didn't know that I was recording. You know, I barely opened that app. Don't know how it happened. Thought the phone was on the side of the bed on Chad Ochocinco's podcast. Well, on the heels of that, there was a $50 million civil suit filed against him alleging sexual assault. He ended up settling for $10 million with no admittance of guilt. 2 weeks later, because he's been on leave from ESPN, he is now fired. So Shannon Sharpe is gone from First Take and ESPN. His defense team released some of the text messages. I mean, they're like some haunted horse stuff, man. You could tell that both sides, there's one thing that's clear. Both sides, according to some of these text messages, it was consensual. But the reason I bring this up is a settlement, and here goes the court side of this with the King's Court. A settlement's not admitting you're guilty. It's actually something completely different. But now a settlement is as good as being convicted. Or in this case, in a civil case, being found liable. So he is now, and I'm sure he'll probably bounce back, but he is no longer going to be with ESPN. That lawsuit was settled. Justin Tucker, you know what it does? It really makes the Deshaun Watson stuff so much more unsavory. If there's something that's more unsavory than that, I don't know. And what's that dude doing? Playing football. So Shannon Sharpe, no longer with ESPN. Where do you stand on that? Because what do you, serious question, what do you do? I can tell you, I have been part of conversations in the legal realm where it's like, oh, we're right. We know we're right. You all know we're right. But guess what? It's going to take more than what you are asking to litigate this all the way through in costs. If I win, do you even have enough to pay me? Now, this is a reverse situation. So you drop it or you settle. So I think it's something more than anything to pay attention to in sports, because we're seeing more and more of these things come up, and even in life in general, I guess. But we're seeing more and more of these suits come up, and you know who's facing one right now is Zion Williamson. He has been accused of some unsavory things. The Pelicans are riding with him for right now. Joe Dumars has deferred to Zion's legal team, said that they've met multiple times. But what do you do if you're an athlete? You either got to fight it and clear your name and bite the bullet on the cost, or you got to settle it. And even if you're in the right, here's the other thing people don't think about. Even if you're in the right, that trial might be very unsavory for your career, even if you are not found liable. So there's alternate reasons to settle rather than I'm guilty, I want to make you go away. So I just think it's going to be something we continue to see in sports. And I bring it up because Zion Williamson is next on stage to have to deal with this. It is a much lower bar in federal court. That is a fact. It is a completely different ball game, especially in civil court. Civil court is much different than criminal court. Very different. Time for grids. Yeah, we're about to get there. We're about to get there, actually. Just want to get to some of your chat really quick. Appreciate you being here with us today on the King's Court. We've got a lot of very cool stuff coming up for the channel, so make sure that you are paying attention to Grant and I's socials. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. If you haven't, we'd really appreciate it. If you don't mind, give us a big thumbs up. We're trying to get one more than the day before, and y'all continue to come through. We had 34 on Monday. Jerry Reynolds, 35 on Monday. We had 36 yesterday, so thank you very much. We are going to do our immaculate grid together here in just a couple of minutes after we go through your chats. If you don't know what that is, you will find out shortly. It's something we're doing to kill some time. We're going to test our basketball knowledge. If you want to call in right now and be a part of that on the phone as well, you can. If not, we will start taking your suggestions here on the chat once we put the grid up. What's Dom Dog have to say? Okay, you guys are talking within yourselves. What's up, Cristobal? How you doing, brother? It's cooking. It's cooking. Let's just say we have things on the burner. We're paying attention. We got stuff on the burner. Let's see. I love how all you start chatting with each other. It's the best. Max says, Peter, Disney, ESPN do a good job with college football. They cover that sport better than any. I really like how CBS used to do the SEC. I get they're completely separate, but I like what they do there. What other sports network is left for SS to work at? He's probably best laying out for a minute and then just starting up his own venture. That's what I would do. Yeah, Peter, that's a good suggestion, actually. Haunted Horse. I mean, that'd be a great spot for him to land on his feet. Don't you think, Horse? I think so.
Everybody involved. For me, it's a reminder. I, too, have been here 23 years. And it is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
You hear all the media. He has no idea what he said. That's Horse's problem sometimes. $50 million lawsuit and getting fired by ESPN. Well, again, he settled with no guilty part of it. The settlement says I can. The way that settlements are is you negotiate what the settlement's going to say, and you negotiate what each party can say. And obviously, the other side didn't have a problem with the settlement that says Shannon can say I'm innocent. This is not me saying that I am liable for anything in there. So, all right, let's get to our grid. Let's do it. We do it once a week on Wednesdays. We're going to wrap up the show with it. We're only going to do one grid today. If you remember, I believe I have the rarest player so far at 1%. It was a Sacramento King first round pick that averaged 20 points or more. Any guesses in the chat if you remember who it was? It was Peja. It was a 1%er. So the way that you play the grid, and if you want to call in right now and be a part of it, you can. And you can be a part in the chat as well. The way that you play the grid is you are looking for the more rare, the more obscure names that fit into a category. So for instance, with the Kings and the Nuggets, or like the Kings and 20,000 career points, if I was to put Mitch Richmond in there, then, John, no doubt, dude, he'll be there. Shannon Sharp might be the usher of that row. Absolutely. He'll make it to a Kings game. Hell, man. Do you hear about some... Anyways, I'm not going to go into it, but there's some people in media that came from sport and got into media, that were wrestling and into media and movies, that have now moved on to hosting on alternative websites. That's all I'm going to say about those sites, and making more money than they have ever seen. So, all right. Is that an Ozempic ad over Ryan's head? I sure as hell hope not. All right. I'm going to take myself down so I'm not pimping a drug that I don't take. All right. So here's how the grid works. We're looking for obscure names here. You can point out the obvious ones, but the higher the percentage that comes with that name, meaning 54% of the people that play the game said that name, the lower your score. The higher your score when you get like a 1%er. So here's what we're looking for. Let's start off here. Somebody that played for the Kings and the Nuggets. Kings and Nuggets. I think I have one. Put it in the chat, or else I'll just do the grid like none of you are here. Put it in the chat. Oh yeah, we're running squares. Each of these squares cost each of you $100 too. If you're listening, federal government. Come on, play ball.
Here to start us off with our two favorite words is the Kings owner and chairman, Vivek Ranadive. Take it away.
All right, Ty Lawson. That's a good one. Didn't Mahmoud Abdul Rauf play for both teams? Why does he come to mind? Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. Sharif, did he play for both teams? Okay. Can we get any more?
Please try again.
Nobody's talking to you, Siri. Yeah, I thought Abdul did too. I'm liking that. Anybody want a veto?
Sorry, something went wrong. Please try again.
What are we doing? Stop. DMC. Yep. MAR. I don't know about that one. Oh. Raheem. Mahmoud Abdul Rahim. Got it. And by the way, y'all, don't cheat. we're trying to test our intellectual basketball knowledge here. All right, so you want to go with Abdul Rahim? I kind of want to do Brad Miller. Andre Miller. Was Andre with the Kings? Damn. So which way are we going? Final answer. Seems like it's going to be Raheem. I think Mahmoud Abdul Rauf played for them too, but we'll see. All right. I'm putting in the short, so I don't have to put it all in. Guess I'm going to have to. All right. He didn't play for him. How are we going to start off with a loss? Dang. That hurts. We're starting off with a Kings loss. No, he wouldn't work because he hasn't played a game yet. We learned that last week. Dang. How are we going to start off with a Kings loss? It's embarrassing. JV does not count. Nope. We learned that last week with Jalen McDaniels. That's how we learned that one last week. Damn. I think, okay, before we move on to the next square, I got to hash this out really quick. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf teams. He played for Denver. Damn you. He played for Denver. Now we're putting it in to see how rare it is. Always go with your first thought. Dang. 5%. They don't even have a picture of them. All right, let's move on. It's worth taking 2 guesses at the Kings. I don't care. Kings matter. All right, let's move on to a king and a bullet or a wizard. Some of these are very simple. Can you think of any of the crazier ones? Mitch Richmond, we know. King and a bullet. Mitch Richmond, Chris Webber, Valanciunas. Those are all pretty easy. Marvin Bagley Jr. Yep, we already hit that. Richmond, we hit that. Yep, I think Bagley would be our first obscure one. Jonas, I don't think is as obscure. We know him. Jonas isn't a bad one. What do you guys like better? Spud. Oh, okay. Was he a bullet? Oh, now we're going. Purvis Ellison. Was he a bullet? Was the Wiz actually a Wiz? We had this debate last week. I don't remember. Kevin Martin. It's not bad. I'm Justin. I'm going to trust you, man. This is Justin's pick. Justin says, because he says it with so much confidence, straight out there, Purvis Ellison. Let's see. Oh, Colby. Oh, did he play though? Did he play, Dom? Did Colby get minutes? I guess he would just have to dress. You know what? I respect the Colby Jones. I'm gonna ride with the Purvis Ellison because that's what we started to go with. 0.8%. Well done. Well done, Justin. All right, King and Rocket. Got some easy ones. Our test is an easy one. king and a rocket. Garrett Temple. Dude was on so many teams. King and a rocket. It's like the Austin Powers movies. Smoking a pancake. All right, we are on to a king and a rocket. Kenny Smith, good one. Anybody beat Kenny Smith? I think Kevin Martin was. You're right. Francisco Garcia, Ben Mac. Ooh, bad time to do that one. But Ben McLemore. Ben McLemore, I think, is pretty obscure. Our test, yeah, I think it's too obvious. I think right now we're between Cristobal. You how sure are you? DMC just keeps coming up. Brad Miller. I don't remember Miller as a Rocket. Freddie Garcia? Tristan? That's deep. I really want to put the one that I said, but I don't want to put that guy's name out anywhere. Now that he's been convicted of what he's been convicted of. So, Cristobal, are you sure about Francisco Garcia? I remember Francisco in a Rockets uniform. Anybody else? 100%. Yeah, I remember that time. Pitcher? Ralph Sampson, generational hater. Was he a Rocket? I think he was. Okay, Justin, I respect your you got some shine because you got one right, but I'm gonna try to go with somebody else. Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay. All right. So I'm either gonna go with Ralph Sampson. Oh, Caspi. He was. Okay, here's where we're gonna go. We're either gonna go Francisco Garcia or Trevor Ariza. Which way you want to go? Let's go with hater. We'll go Trevor Ariza. All right, Trevor Ariza, 8%. Good job. Good job. All right, how do we want to spend our final 5? We're going to test our basketball. Caspi is a good choice. Yeah, I was. I'm with you there. Good job. All right, let's test our basketball knowledge here. A Rocket. Ooh, I know a good one. A Rocket with 20,000 plus points. I know 2 of them. And one of them said the other was one of the best defenders he played against. A Rocket with 20,000 plus points. Or excuse me, a Wizard with 20,000 plus points. Michael Jordan, Mitch Richmond, Gilbert Arenas. Did Arenas get to 20,000? Agent Zero, who we were just talking about. Okay, forum is open for 1 minute. Hakeem, yeah, but that's going to be like we're going Wizards first. Wizards first, my bad. Harden, yeah. Harden's too easy. Olajuwon, too easy. I'm with you. I think Mitch Richmond's more obscure. Westbrook, not a bad one. Yao Ming. Did Yao get 20,000? Did he play long enough, Tristan? I feel like it's a little. What about Clyde? Sorry, we're mixing teams. We're going. Sorry, I'm confusing y'all. We are going with the Wizards right now. Wizards, Wizards, Wizards. Yeah, I know, right? BJ, the dude from North Carolina. Did Antoine put up 20,000 points? John Wall. Here's what I think. I think we should put Mitch Richmond in because I think it's going to be a little obscure. because everybody thinks of Mitch Richmond as a Sacramento King. Here we go. You can call me out if I'm wrong. 1%. Woo! Woo! There we go. All right, now we go to the Rockets. Rockets, 20,000 plus. We have Westbrook, we have the Dream, we have Yao. Stackhouse, yeah. Big Shot Bob, Robert Ory. Did he put up 20,000 in his career? He probably did. Clyde the Glide. Think about the Rockets' transitional times. Think about their transitional times. Peter saying Big Shot Bob. Barkley. Yeah. You know, generational hater, I'm kind of with you. Oh, McGrady. Okay, so McGrady. Okay. McGrady, Ori, Pippen. I saw Scotty his last season in a Rockets uniform. That's a good one, too. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We've got Pippen, McGrady. Put your votes in. Pippen, McGrady, Ori, or Barkley. I am partial to Ori. Horace, I know you're looking stuff up right now. I'm so happy you're a part of this segment and you're here, but there's no way Ortis Thorpe came from the back of your mind. Convince me otherwise. What position? Well, you already know. You're looking at it. Horace, you're Googling stuff, bro. Come on, Horace. Okay, 1 vote for Ori, 1 vote for Charles. Carmelo, that's a good one too, hater. All right, let's go Ori. Let's go Ori. Going Peter Anderson's. Survey says. Peter. Peter. Yeah, I know. Call him out. There's no way he went for Otis Thorpe. I mean, maybe there's a slight chance. He did attend some fairly high level playoff games. Stop it. It's a horse. No chance. Horse, walk it off, dude.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
I'm not impressed, Horse. Come on. Do better, Horse. Horse, I know.
Disgust me. How can you live with yourself? Just cool it, Zippy. You sit on a throne of lies.
All right. Who was our second choice there? I think our second choice was Pippen. We'll go Pippen. See how it comes up. No way! Hey, I need you guys to pick me up here. I'm living
no sense.
I'm living in an alternative reality where you hit me with Pippen and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Big Shot Bob, I could see that. We even missed a king.
That don't make
With the
no
Nuggets.
sense.
Come on. All right, let's make up for it now. Let's go with a Nugget. Let's go with a Nugget and a Laker. A Nugget and a Laker. Go. Russell Westbrook. Dang, man. Oh, you're sure of that, right? You said Houston? Okay. You know what? I'll go back there. Hey, horse. Hey, horse. Horse. You couldn't even get it right when you were looking it up. Come on. Oh, man. That was compared to last week. That was a brutal. That was brutal. Oh. If you are listening to the replay, because you check out the show on Apple, Spotify, we're doing the Immaculate Grid, and we absolutely did awful. We got 4 players right out of 9. Purvis Ellison was our best percentage at 0.8% as a king and a warrior. Mitch Richmond as a warrior who scored 20,000 points, or excuse me, a wizard. So Ellison as a wizard and a king, 0.8%. Richmond as a wizard, scoring 20,000 points, a 1% answer. Wow. Well, then why are you telling me it was karma? See, that's what kind of friend Haunted Horse is. That's what you're going to get right there. It's just going to be quick to throw you under the bus. I mean, Horse.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response
Every
were you
team
even
really
close to
needs
anything
what I call a shit
that could
bird.
be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
That kind of applies to all of us, right? Right now. Going, first off, for listening to Horse. And second off, for getting 4 of 9. Man. Oh, I know. The Rock was my man, dude. Mitch was my guy growing up. Used to go to his camps. You know what they used to feed us at there? Never mind. I'm not going to go there. He had a really, well, at the time it was cool. You would have Mitch Richmond because so check this out. His camp would usually, or at least this year, it was held at Arco Arena. It's held at the barn. And they set up multiple courts in the arena. And when it became lunchtime, Mitch Richmond would just walk around with a box of superstars from Carl's Jr. Like, Mitch Richmond's throwing as many superstars at you as you want. Like, you forget you're at basketball camp. You're like, Mitch Richmond's giving me a burger. Heck yes, I'll take that one. Heck yes, I'll take that second one. Heck no, I know I can't eat, double negative. Woo! A third one, but I'm going to take it anyways because it's from Mitch Richmond. And then you realize, uh-oh, I'm at basketball camp. And you are done for the rest of the day. You've pulled a quad. Sorry, coach, pulled a quad at lunch. I just can't move forward, coach. You know, I'll be back tomorrow, though. I'll be back tomorrow. That's when you could eat 2 or 3 superstars before your metabolism slows down and that starts happening. So, all right. It's been a fun show. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, Napes is back tonight, 7 o'clock, an hour earlier. If you missed any part of the show, go back, catch it on replay on YouTube, or download it on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you find your podcasts. We are there. So good Wednesday. Really, really good Wednesday. Stay tuned to my social. I don't know that we'll be doing, I'm 90% sure that we'll be doing a show tomorrow. But if that changes, I will let you know on social. But before that, you will have Grant tonight. Appreciate all of you letting me into your ears, your homes, your stereos, whatever it may be, your cars. Love talking Kings basketball and everything else in the sports world with you. It's a great pleasure. It really is. Love this place that we have built up. We're going to keep this thing going in one way or another. So, all right, go Kings. Light the beam. Make sure that you don't throw people like Baylor's head coach suggested. Make it a great day. Court is
Great vibe
dismissed.
today. Championship.
Order in the court.
We're here. We're ready. We're locked in. Bunch of dogs. Woo-woo.